I cheated on my husband with his best friend because he wouldn't pay for my barrel. Now I'm homeless and begging him to take me back. Okay, so my marriage just blew up spectacularly and I'm currently typing this from my sister's couch at 2 a.m. because I have nowhere else to go. Everyone's calling me horrible, but I need to know if I'm actually the villain here. So here's the deal. I've been married to my husband for 4 years. He makes good money, like really good money. 6 figures. Meanwhile, I work part-time at a salon because he always said he wanted me to focus on being a wife, whatever that means. For the past 2 years I've been begging him to pay for a barrel. All my friends have had work done and honestly I felt so insecure about my body. I saved up $3,000 on my own, but the procedure I wanted was $12,000 total. Every time I brought it up he'd say you're beautiful as you are, or we need to save for a house. But then this man goes and drops $15,000 on a new truck. $15,000. On a truck. When I called him out he said that's different, it's practical. I was so fed up. His best friend had been coming around more often and he'd always compliment me, tell me I was gorgeous, actually listen when I talked about feeling insecure. One day when my husband was at work his friend came by to pick up some tools and we just started talking. He said if I had a wife like you I'd give her anything she wanted. Long story short, we ended up sleeping together. And it kept happening. For 3 months. Here's where it gets messy. His friend offered to pay for my barrel, said he'd been saving up money and wanted to invest in my happiness. I know it sounds bad, but I was so desperate to feel confident again. The day before my surgery my husband found out. His friend had apparently been bragging to someone about upgrading me and it got back to him. My husband lost it. Started screaming about how I threw away our marriage for some plastic surgery. Threw all my stuff on the lawn. Changed the locks. Won't answer my calls. His friend? Yeah, he ghosted me the second my husband confronted him. Blocked my number. Never paid for the surgery obviously. So now I'm homeless, broke, and my family is divided. Half think I'm a cheating monster and half think my husband was financially controlling me. My sister says I should have just left him instead of cheating, but honestly I loved him, I just wanted him to care about what mattered to me. My mom says I got what I deserved. I've been texting him begging him to talk, telling him I made a mistake and that I'll do anything to fix this. He finally responded yesterday and said you made your choice, live with it. But was I really that wrong? He had the money to make me happy and chose not to. His friend saw my worth and was willing to invest in me. Yeah, I cheated, but wasn't he emotionally neglecting me first? I'm so lost right now. Part of me wants to keep fighting for my marriage, but another part thinks maybe I dodged a bullet with someone who didn't value my feelings. So Reddit, AIT here? Was I justified in what I did, or am I really just a terrible person like? Holy shit you guys, everything has gotten so much worse. I thought rock bottom was sleeping on my sister's couch, but apparently the universe had other plans. So after my last post blew up and most of you rightfully called me out, I decided to try one more time to reach out to my husband. Big mistake. Huge. I drove to our house yesterday morning, parked across the street and just sat there for like an hour working up the courage. Finally saw him come outside to get his mail. I got out of the car and walked over. Can we please just talk for 5 minutes? He looked at me like I was something stuck to his shoe. There's nothing to talk about. You chose your path. But I love you, I made a terrible mistake and I'm sorry. That's when he laughed. Actually laughed. You love me? You fucked my best friend for 3 months because I wouldn't buy you a new ass. That's not love, that's manipulation. I started crying right there on the sidewalk. Please, I have nowhere to go, I lost everything. You lost everything the day you decided to spread your legs for someone else's money. The neighbors were starting to stare. Mrs. Chen from next door was full on watching from her window. I felt so humiliated, but I kept begging. I'll do anything, therapy, whatever you want. I want you to leave me alone. But here's where it gets really fucked up. As I'm walking back to my sister's car, completely destroyed, I see a familiar truck pulling into the driveway. His best friend. The one who ghosted me. This man gets out of the truck like nothing happened. Gives my husband a bro hug. They're laughing about something. I'm standing there in complete shock. I marched right back over. Are you fucking kidding me right now? My husband turns around. What? He's here? After everything he did to us, you're still friends with him? His friend finally looks at me. Hey, drama queen's back. Drama queen? You promised to pay for my surgery, you said you cared about me. I said a lot of things. Doesn't mean I meant them. My husband is just standing there watching this whole exchange. I turned to him. You see? You see how he's talking to me? This is the man you're choosing over your wife? You're not my wife anymore. And yeah, I'm choosing my friend who admitted his mistake and apologized over the woman who betrayed me for months. He apologized? What about me? I've been apologizing for weeks. His apology came with the truth. Yours came with more lies. Turns out while I was sleeping with his friend was also sleeping with 2 other women. Including a married woman from their gym. My husband found out everything after he confronted him. So you weren't special, his friend said to me. Just available. I completely lost it. Started screaming about how they're both pieces of shit, how they deserve each other, how I hope they're happy together. The whole neighborhood came out to watch. You're embarrassing yourself, my husband said quietly. Just go. I drove back to my sister's place sobbing so hard I could barely see the road. When I got there, my sister had news that made everything worse. Mom called. She told everyone at church about what happened. The whole family knows. My cousins have been texting me all day. Some supportive, most not. My aunt called me a home wrecker. My grandma, who's 87 and usually stays out of drama, left me a voicemail saying she's disappointed in the woman I've become. But wait, there's more. Remember how I worked part-time at a salon? Well, my boss heard about everything through the grapevine. This town is small, and she called me today. I'm sorry, but I can't have this kind of drama associated with my business. I'm going to have to let you go. So now I'm unemployed too. No husband, no job, no money, no friends except my sister who's getting tired of me crying on her couch every night. The worst part is I keep thinking about what his friend said. Just available. That's all I was to him. Available. While I thought he actually cared about me, he was just using me like some toy. I've been reading through all your comments from my first post and yeah, most of you were right. I was selfish and destructive. But seeing my husband choose his cheating friend over me after everything, I don't know if I'm more angry or heartbroken. My sister thinks I should move to another state, start over completely. My mom thinks I should keep fighting for my marriage. I don't know what to think anymore. Last night I drove by our house again. The lights were on, there were beer bottles on the porch, I could hear them laughing through the window. Like I never existed. Like our 4 years together meant nothing. I sat in that car for 2 hours just watching the life I used to have continue without me. The life I threw away for a surgery and a man who called me just available. Part of me wants to bang on that door and force them to deal with the mess we all made. Part of me wants to disappear forever. Part of me wants to find a way to hurt them both the way they hurt me. But mostly I just want to understand how I became this person. How I went from being someone's wife to being homeless and hated by my own family in just a few weeks. So tell me, Reddit, am I completely irredeemable here? Should I keep trying to fix this or just accept that I destroyed everything and move on? Because honestly I don't know how much more rock bottom I can take. You know what, forget everything I said about rock bottom because apparently the ground keeps giving out from under me. My sister kicked me out. Yeah, you read that right. After 2 weeks of me crying on her couch and eating her food, she sat me down yesterday morning with this whole intervention speech. I love you, but you're not even trying to fix your life. You just keep wallowing and expecting everyone else to solve your problems. I'm grieving my marriage. No, you're being dramatic. Get a job, find an apartment, move on. With what money? You know I lost my job. That's not my problem anymore. Mom said you can stay with her for a few days while you figure it out. So now I'm at my childhood home sleeping in my old room with the boy band posters still on the walls. At 28 years old. My mom keeps making these passive-aggressive comments about consequences and learning responsibility. But here's the thing that's really messing with my head. I found out why my husband and his friend made up so fast. Yesterday I was at the grocery store, trying to avoid everyone I know, when I ran into his friend's ex-girlfriend. We never really talked before, but she recognized me. You're the one who was sleeping with him, right? I wanted to crawl under a rock. Yeah, that's me. Girl, you dodged a bullet. That man is trash. Turns out she broke up with him 6 months ago because she caught him cheating. With multiple women. Including me apparently, though I didn't know about her at the time. He has this whole system. Finds women who are vulnerable, tells them what they want to hear, uses them for sex, then dumps them when it gets complicated. But he offered to pay for my surgery. She laughed. He told me he'd pay for my dental work. Never saw a penny. He told another girl he'd help with her car payments. Same thing. My stomach dropped. So none of it was real? Honey, that man doesn't even have 12K. He's living paycheck to paycheck just like the rest of us. I felt so stupid. All those months thinking he actually cared about me, that he saw my worth when my husband didn't. He was just running the same game on me that he runs on everyone. Why didn't you warn me? Would you have listened? You were married and sneaking around. I figured you knew what you were doing. She told me something else too. The reason my husband forgave him so fast, it wasn't really forgiveness. It was strategy. Your husband came to see me after everything came out. Asked me to tell him everything I knew about how his friend operates. Why would he do that? Because he's planning something. I don't know what, but he was taking notes. This whole conversation left me so confused. I drove around for hours trying to process everything. Finally ended up parked outside our old house again, which I know is pathetic, but I can't seem to stop myself. That's when I saw something that made my blood run cold. My husband was loading boxes into his truck. Moving boxes. I got out of the car and walked over. Are you moving? He didn't even look surprised to see me. Selling the house. You can't sell our house. It's my house. My name on the deed, remember? You wanted to focus on being a wife instead of contributing to the down payment. Where are you going? Somewhere you'll never find me. This is insane. You're throwing away everything we built together. No, you did that when you fucked my best friend. I started crying again. I hate that I keep crying, but I can't help it. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. You chose to lie to me for 3 months. You chose to plan a surgery with another man's money. You chose to betray me in the worst possible way. But you're still friends with him. How is that fair? He finally looked at me. Really looked at me. You think we're friends? I saw you together, laughing and drinking beer. I was getting information. Learning about all the other women he's been with. All the lies he's told. All the ways he's manipulated people. Information for what? That's not your concern anymore. A chill ran down my spine. What are you planning? Nothing illegal. But Karma's a bitch and sometimes she needs a little help. He got in his truck and drove away. Left me standing there in the driveway of the house we used to share, wondering what the hell he meant. I called his friend later that night. Had to call from my mom's phone because he blocked my number. He actually answered. What do you want? I need to know something. Did you ever actually have money for my surgery? Long pause. Does it matter now? Yes, it matters. I need to know if any of it was real. Look, I liked you. You're hot and you were available. But pay for your surgery? Come on, I'm not stupid. So you lied about everything. I told you what you wanted to hear. That's not lying, that's being nice. Being nice? You destroyed my marriage. You destroyed your marriage. I just gave you an excuse to do what you already wanted to do. He hung up on me. So now I'm sitting here in my childhood bedroom, unemployed, homeless, and realizing that everything I thought I knew was a lie. My husband is planning some kind of revenge that scares me. His friend never gave a shit about me. My family thinks I'm a failure. My sister won't even talk to me. And the worst part? I'm starting to think they're all right. Maybe I am just a selfish, stupid woman who threw away a good thing for nothing. But if that's true, then what happens to me now? Do I just accept that I'm the villain in everyone's story and try to disappear? Or is there some way to climb out of this hole I dug for myself? Because sitting here looking at my old prom photos and participation trophies, I can't figure out how I became this person everyone hates, including myself. Well, Reddit, buckle up because this story just took the most insane turn and I still can't believe what happened. So remember how my husband was being all cryptic about karma and revenge? Yeah, turns out he wasn't planning what I thought he was planning. 3 days ago I got a call from an unknown number. Woman's voice, older, professional sounding. Is this the woman who was married to, husband's name? Who's asking? My name is Detective Martinez. I need to speak with you about some financial irregularities we've discovered. My heart stopped. What kind of irregularities? Can you come down to the station? I thought my husband had done something crazy to get back at me and his friend. Turns out I was half right. When I got there, the detective explained that my husband had been investigating his friend for months. Not just the cheating stuff, but actual crimes. Your husband brought us evidence of identity theft, credit card fraud, and embezzlement. What? Apparently his friend had been using information from all the women he'd been sleeping with to open credit cards in their names. Including mine. That's how he was funding his lifestyle and making all those promises about paying for surgeries and car payments. He opened 4 credit cards using your social security number. Maxed them out. You currently owe about $30,000 in debt you didn't know about. I felt like I was going to throw up. How is that possible? He had access to your personal information through your relationship. Mail, documents, probably took photos of your ID when you weren't looking. The detective showed me paperwork. My name, my social, credit cards I'd never seen before. All maxed out on stupid stuff like expensive dinners, clothes, even a down payment on a motorcycle. But why didn't my husband tell me? He wanted to make sure we had enough evidence to prosecute. If you'd known earlier, you might have confronted the suspect and tipped him off. So while I was crying about my marriage falling apart, my husband was actually trying to protect me from something much worse. All those times he seemed cold and distant, he was working with police to build a case. We arrested him this morning. When I left the police station my head was spinning. I drove straight to my mom's house where my husband was sitting at the kitchen table with a stack of legal documents. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. Because you would have screwed it up. You're not exactly known for keeping secrets. Fair point. How long have you known? About the financial stuff? 2 months. I hired a private investigator after I found out about the affair. Wanted to know who I was really dealing with. And you've been protecting me this whole time? Protecting both of us. He would have destroyed your credit and disappeared. At least now there's a chance you can recover from this. We sat there in silence for a while. Finally I asked the question that was eating at me. Does this change anything? Between us? He looked at me for a long time. You still cheated on me. You still chose to betray our marriage. The fact that he was a criminal doesn't make what you did okay. I know. But, he continued, it does make me understand why you fell for his manipulation. He's a professional liar. So what happens now? Now we get divorced. Clean and simple. I help you deal with the identity theft because it's the right thing to do, not because we're getting back together. And after that? After that you figure out how to build a life that doesn't involve destroying other people's. The next few days were a blur of lawyers and paperwork. Turns out his friend had been running this scam on 6 different women. 2 of them were married, 3 were single moms, 1 was a college student. All of us thought we were special to him. The prosecutor thinks we'll get most of the debt cleared since it was fraud, but it'll take months and my credit is trashed. My husband moved out of state like he planned. We signed the divorce papers yesterday. He was polite but distant, like I was just another piece of business to handle. I hope you figure out what you're actually looking for, he said before he left. Because it was never about the surgery or the money. It was about something else, and until you figure out what that is, you're going to keep making the same mistakes. I've been thinking about that a lot. Sitting here in my childhood room, unemployed and starting over at 28, I keep wondering what I was really looking for. Maybe it was attention. Maybe it was feeling desired. Maybe it was just wanting someone to prioritize me for once. But whatever it was, it cost me everything. His friend is looking at serious jail time. Multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, probably other stuff too. Turns out when police started investigating him, they found a whole pattern of this behavior going back years. Part of me feels vindicated, like see, he really was a manipulative piece of shit. But another part of me knows that doesn't excuse what I did. I still chose to have an affair. I still lied to my husband for months. I still threw away my marriage for someone who saw me as a mark. Yesterday I finally got a job. It's just retail, minimum wage, but it's something. I'm staying with my mom until I can save enough for a small apartment. My sister is still mad, but she's slowly starting to talk to me again. The weirdest part is that I don't miss my husband the way I thought I would. I miss the security, the house, the life we had. But him specifically? I think we both knew our marriage was over before the cheating even started. He was right about one thing though. I need to figure out what I'm actually looking for before I can move forward. Because clearly just wanting someone to buy me things and tell me I'm pretty isn't enough to build a life on. So Reddit, after everything that's happened, I guess my question isn't whether I'm the asshole anymore. I know I am. The question is whether being an asshole means you're irredeemable, or if there's a way to learn from the worst mistakes of your life and become someone better. Because right now, sitting here with nothing but a minimum wage job and a chance to start over, that's all I've got left to hope for.